Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm here to show you my Magicka Warden, also known as Magden, beginner build for the Deadlands DLC patch. As a part of the beginner setup series, I'll be focusing on a starting rotation and gear that are easily accessible. For the sake of this theme, and to be as new player friendly as possible, I'll be avoiding mythics, arena weapons, trial, or dungeon gear. Furthermore, the rotation for many classes will be simplified. This build is capable of pulling over 74k on the parse dummy and is viable for most starting content. The build specializes in group content such as trials, vet dungeons, and group arenas. This build works great in overland, but is not specifically designed for it. So starting off in the character sheet as per usual, I have 64 points in a Magicka and I'm running the Thief Mundus. As for race, I am a High Elf. High Elves probably work best, but other alternatives include Dark Elf, Khajiit, and any other class that would benefit Magicka. Moving on to food, for hard content we're going to be running Clockwork Citrus Fillet. A cheaper and just as good alternative will be Witch Mother's Potent Brew. And last but not least, if you need more sustain or you're parsing, Ghastly Eyeball is always the go-to. Moving on to potions, for this build we're going to be running Essence of Spell Power. You do not need to run this for anything easy, just make sure you run it for harder content. Essence of Spell Power gives us 3 buffs that are very important for Magicka DPS. These include Major Sorcery, Major Prophecy, and Major Intellect. Furthermore, if you are buying or making these potions yourself, they do cost a little bit to make. So make sure you have 3 points in a medicinal use from the Alchemy skill line so that the potions last the full duration. Moving on to CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Fighting Finesse, Master at Arms, Biting Aura, and Backstabber. For the red tree, we're going to be running Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Rejuvenation, and Siphoning Spells. So for gear, we're going to be running 2 daggers of Julianos. Main hand is going to be Nirnhoned, offhand is Charged. Main hand has a poison damage enchant, offhand has a flame damage enchant. For the back bar, we're going to be running a Inferno Staff of Julianos, infused with a increased weapon and spell damage glyph. For the head and shoulders, we're going to be running Hunning's Rage, both in light, max mags, traded in divines. For the body, we're going to be running 5 pieces of New Moon Acolyte, all max mag, traded in divines. And for the jewelry, we're running 3 pieces of Julianos jewelry with spell damage enchants, traded in Bloodthirsty. So skills in rotation, we're going to be running a Subterranean Assault, Screaming Cliff Racer, Fetcher Infection, Barb Trap, Camouflage Hunter, Eternal Guardian, Winter's Revenge, Unstable Wall of Fire, Scalding Rune, Degeneration, Blue Betty, and Eternal Guardian again. So for the rotation, we're just going to base it around our Subterranean Assault. What I mean by that is every cast of Subterranean Assault, you have 5 casts until you have to refresh Sub Assault again. So the rotation would go Subterranean Assault, and then all 5 of your back bar dots, Winter's Revenge, Unstable Wall of Fire, Scalding, Degeneration, and then Blue Betty. And then you swap to your front bar, cast Subterranean Assault again, pair that with Fetcher Infection, Barb Trap, and then 3 Screaming Cliff Racers. If you have your ult ready, just replace one of the Cliff Racers with your ult. So closing thoughts. First off, I would just swap out for an Inferno Staff for my main hand instead of daggers if I needed range. Or if you just are more comfortable using a staff, it's like a couple thousand DPS loss, but at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal. In terms of progression, the first thing I would go for is Mother Sorrow. It's an overland set from Deshawn, and I'd replace New Moon Acolyte ASAP because that set just isn't the greatest. Next, I'd probably farm Kinra for jewelry and weapons, so that would put me at 5-piece Mother Sorrow and then 5-piece Kinra. And then from there, you have a couple options. You can go the Mythic route, or you can go the Monster Helm route. So for Mythic, you want to get a Mythic, pair it with a 1-piece Slime Crawl. The best Mythic right now is Harpooners. It's not viable for all content, but it's viable for the majority of content. And then I would drop Harpooners and use Death Dealer whenever that situation arises. Another really important thing to do is make sure you farm Maelstrom to get yourself an Inferno Staff, because it is mandatory for Mag DPS. If you're gonna skip the Mythic plus 1-piece Slime Crawl route, you can always go Monster Helm route. There's some viable options such as Stormfist, Kjarnar, or Maul of the Inferno. And then once you've done all of that, I'd consider going the Basai route because it is the strongest and hardest hitting set. Another set you could get is Zogvin. It'll free up a bar slot so you can not run Trap. and you can run a different skill there instead. So just a couple extra things. I think Wild Guardian does more damage than Eternal Guardian, so there's that. I mean, it won't respawn if it dies, but it does do more damage, I believe, even on Mag. If you're too lazy to farm Mage's Guild, or you haven't gotten there yet, then you can take out the 2 Mage's Guild skills and just replace them with Screaming Cliff Racer. As in, move your Fetcher Infection and your Barb Trap earlier in the rotation, so that you can just use Cliff Racer 2 more times. It's not that big of a DPS loss. So that wraps up the build explanation section of this portion. As always, thank you for watching my videos, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. As a reminder, if this video helped in any way, please help the channel grow by subscribing and liking the video. If you like the piggies, please like the video. As per usual, I'll have a parse at the end. Feel free to stick around for it. If not, have a great day, and thank you again.